Hello and welcome to Blytheway Business News, where today we're talking about green hydrogen, quite appropriate in the week in which the COP conference is going on in Glasgow. In particular, we're talking about President Energy, which has plans to float off Atome. President Energy, listed on the AIM market with a market capitalization of around £40 million, has just announced that Olivier Mussat, who is joining us, Olivier has been appointed as Chief Executive of Atome. Olivier, welcome to the show. Congratulations on your appointment. Chief Exec of Atome. Tell us a little bit more about yourself, first of all.
Thank you very much, Tim. Well, about myself, I just arrived from the International Finance Corporation, so where I spent the past 9 years. For those who don't know, the IFC is the investment arm of the World Bank, essentially investing in private companies in emerging markets. In my role, I was CIO of Global Energy. And to give you a sense of scale, the global energy portfolio is about $8 billion. And during my 9 years, we saw quite a rapid shift from hydrocarbon-based to renewable-based. So as an example, when I joined back in 2012, hydrocarbons were around $2 billion of asset. And today they're around $800 million. And in renewable energy, it used to be around $1 billion and now it's $4 billion. So clearly quite a big change. And we've seen the technology move leaps and bounds, which obviously makes opportunities like Atome really interesting to essentially go and push further that envelope that we had started to push at the IFC. And I get the chance to do it in the private sector. Before being with the IFC, I used to be co-head of oil and gas project finance at Standard Chartered Bank. Previously with Schlumberger, working in emerging markets all across the world globally. And I actually started my career as a field engineer in the power sector with Ecolochem, which was a subsidiary of General Electric, who specialized in commissioning power plants.
Some impressive jobs with some big organizations. What was it about Atome Energy then that made it seem like the logical next step for you?
I think it's, for me, was the interesting part was after having financed and invested direct equity. I think I did about $500 million of direct equity investment in early stage and mature companies, and quite a few $1 billion of debt mobilizations as well. I thought that what I saw is there is a lot of capital available out there. The problem is finding good projects and good teams. And obviously I had direct experience of working with Peter Levine when he was, he still is with President Energy. And I thought that the approach and the experience of the team was really interesting. And for me to essentially add an angle of having successfully financed and invested in a number of, let's call them groundbreaking energy projects, and do it on a scale which was realistic and achievable, was really an interesting challenge. Clearly, I'm going from a AAA rated institution to a much more early stage company, but it already has some real projects. So I think this point in time for me made the absolute natural sense to join a team that I knew and respected, with a business plan that I actually completely aligned with.
Peter's been on the program with us before, so we know Peter, and he's been very vocal and very persuasive and very clear about the attractions of Atome. Tell us about some of the other board colleagues who you'll be working with.
Absolutely. So first we have Myros Devadaris, who used to be the ex-head of hydrogen for the International Energy Agency. So over her 20 years there, she really saw the ups and downs of hydrogen, the promises, the disappointments, and is best placed to advise the board and the company on where to go and what are the pitfalls. And as well with Jim, who used to be the Director General of Itaipu, which is the second largest hydroelectric dam in the world, situated in Paraguay. And his experience in government made an absolute sense because these are obviously large projects, groundbreaking projects, and you need to have people who really understand what's going on the ground and who can really help us deliver what is essentially first in class globally.
Now, Atome is lucky to be one of the first green hydrogen companies listed on the London market. Can you give us a bit more detail, please, on green hydrogen's role in decarbonising key industries?
I think a lot of people have been writing about hydrogen for the past year. It was the molecule which was always the promise, which was hard to come by, because it is the holy grail of taking a water and using it in internal combustion engines, and using electricity. And up until recently, as technology progressed to a point where it now makes economical sense to spend a lot of electricity to crack a molecule of water, it's been quite amazing to see how in decarbonization of our energy systems, there is now the opportunity to have a molecule derived from an electron, which can be used in a variety of applications, because you can use green hydrogen in vehicles. Hyundai already has a fleet of trucks and cars, so does Toyota. There are tests around using it in airplanes, ships. Then you have obviously shipping, where a lot of small to mid-sized ships and barges are now testing using green ammonia to run the engines. So you're looking at applications which can apply in a much wider form that batteries, lithium-ion battery storage. Obviously, Tesla is all the rage for the past couple of years, but this is essentially the next step, because you won't need to be connected to a cable. You can actually use green ammonia and green hydrogen exactly the same way you use petrol or gas, but without any of the negative effects, because consuming that molecule, and especially if it's green, made with green energy, has zero negative impact on the environment.
You've been very clear that this company, Atome Energy, is not just about development, but you see it moving into production, being an actual manufacturing company, I suppose, if you will. You've announced you've got two projects, one in Paraguay and one in Iceland. Can you give us an update of what's happening in both locations, please?
Absolutely. Two very exciting and a little different projects, where Paraguay, leveraging on the existing presence of President Energy. Obviously, the most interesting piece of it is the foundational aspect of having existing large amount of green electricity through the Itaipu Dam available at a very competitive price. This is essentially 70% of the price of hydrogen and ammonia, green hydrogen ammonia, is linked to the price of power. So, and you're also close to water. You need access to clean water to create that hydrogen. And this is a landlocked market where you have to import ammonia for agriculture, diesel for your trucks. I mean, everything has to be imported, everything has to be dollarized. So you have the opportunity to be in a landlocked place, which has a huge demand for green ammonia and green hydrogen, and where your competition is actually, very, very, let's call it expensive, and has to be imported. So what we have now is essentially a memorandum of understanding with the power producers, with Itaipu. We have it as well with the power PTI, so the Paraguayan Technology Park, where we have identified and we have agreed on the site where the plant will be, which is extremely close to the dam. And in Iceland, we're using excess geothermal energy. So we have agreed an MOU with Landsvirkjun, the largest utility in Iceland. And Iceland is interesting because it has been developing its own hydrogen industry for about 2 decades. You have buses running in hydrogen, but it's also extremely close to the European market, which is the most exciting market, which has a lot of, let's say, government move towards ensuring the success of green hydrogen. We have there as well with the municipality in the technology center park of Baki, an identified site close to the power supply, close to the water supply, and also close to a port in order to be able to export the green hydrogen and green ammonia in time. Scale-wise, we're looking at up to 250 megawatts of supply in Paraguay, which can be scaled up at a later time. And we are looking to up to 100 megawatts of power supply in Iceland.
Olivier, Thank you for that. Congratulations on the appointment. I'm sure we all wish you every success. And please come back and keep us updated. That was Olivier Mussat, newly appointed Chief Executive of Atome Energy, which is being floated off from President on the London market very, very soon. That's it from Blytheway Business News. Thanks for watching.